morning, 2007. I woke up a little bit earlier than anybody else. I thought I was the first person up. I had the picturesque image of myself finding Santa Claus putting my pink Malibu Barbie bike under the tree. He would stay a little bit longer, and we'd have milk and cookies. I would be the first one in my friend group to actually see Santa Claus outside of the mall. The pure ecstasy of the moment brought me downstairs. Before I noticed myself walking, instead I found a sugar-coated lie. I found my mom putting presents under our tree. Our tree was lit up with the lies I've been told since birth. This led to me trying to rediscover everything I ever learned. What I didn't think of the lies to come, the ones that turn our bodies into bad words, the ones that our parents and teachers tell us to keep us silent, the ones that affect our relationships with our world and bodies. I have a little sister. Every Christmas morning I get to see her face light up, since she still believes in old Saint Nick. I would never ruin that for her. I hope when she finds out, she won't be as bitter as I was. She won't go looking for lies everywhere, but I won't lie to her about certain stuff, especially about sex and her body. There are already laws set up to lie to us. Only 13 states have to be medically accurate in sex ed, which means I can walk into a classroom in Arkansas and tell a group of hormone-charged teenagers that condoms only work 20% of the time, while if used correctly, it's 98% of the time. We hear lies every single day from media about our world. And what do you think's worse, lying to our children about their bodies and turning them into battlefields and into hallway jokes? There are two things I'm worried about. First, I don't want to offend anyone with what I'm saying. The purpose of my speech is to normalize the human body and what it does. Second, I may be making jokes about this, but what I'm trying to say is important and is a serious matter, not to be taken lightly. To understand this, let's look into our magazines and examine the issues from the inside. First, we'll flip open the magazines and see what the magazines are saying about our body issues. Second, we'll take a penetrative look at our sex education system. Third, we will sit down and talk about blank. And finally, we will stop the problem at conception and look at what we can do. I remember the first time I asked my mom about my body, certain questions. She didn't answer me. She just stared at me. I didn't know what to think, so I took it as shame. And that made me believe my body was a shameful thing to talk about. My only childhood memories of my mom were her always looking at the scale and counting calories. She told me as a child being thin was better than anything else. I got my mother's charismatic smile and attitude and her horrible habit of looking an unhealthy way at her body and food. I know I'm not the only one who gets certain traits from their parents they would like to drop off at a bus station, but parents aren't the only ones. We are taught by society to not talk about our body, and some are put into detention for drawing less socially appropriate parts on high school textbooks, chairs, walls, my arm if I'm not paying attention. This all started in preschool, where penises turned into tallywhackers, vaginas into wahoos. I believe we should call them for what they are. Even if later on they realize they were born with the wrong set of genitals, it's still important to not lie to them about this, since it creates an alienation with their own body to call them Disneyified names. I also think schools